What's up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm only reading your lips right now. I don't know why. That's weird. One second. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Look at that. I got you.
Boom. Live troubleshooting again here on the podcast. We're working it out.
Yeah, we got it, man. We got it. Well, we're not live right now, right?
Oh, we're recording. Who knows where I'll start the video, but I just start recording right away.
That's bold.
Yeah,
That's
man.
super bold. So we just jump right into it.
That's the way I like to do it. I had a bunch of guests on here already, and I've never met them or talked to them beforehand. And they're like, "Should we talk before and find?" I'm like, "Nah, dude. I want to figure you out just live. I think that's the fun of it."
Yeah, you got to get the real deal, you know.
But technically, you are somebody who I have met in the real world. You're the only big TikToker I've ever actually met.
That's true. That's very true. Am I a big TikToker? Did I get on that level already?
Well, I mean, you're on my level, and I think I'm pretty big.
Oh, look at you, man.
Although lately you've been killing it with the views, and mine have been flatlining and slowly declining for a lot of reasons.
Nah, it's totally cool, man. It's TikTok does the same thing to me too, man.
Yeah, the shadow ban is real. People think it's not, but it is a real thing.
No, yeah, it's
you were
beautiful.
actually banned though, right? This week?
Yeah, I've been banned twice now, in 2 weeks. So I didn't even do anything. I think I got banned from a previous video that I already got banned for. Maybe I have no idea.
Story of my life. He didn't even do nothing.
I didn't. All I did was, all I do is bully some little kids.
Yeah,
it's not that big of a deal. Right?
I hear that's your new thing. That's your new goal on TikTok.
Oh yeah, pissing off the alt community. The little kids. So I get the same responses over and over. Do your taxes. You're a 40-year-old man.
It's not even April. It's hilarious. These kids are so unaware of what being adult is that they're like, this is a good insult in September.
That's what that's what's beautiful. Honestly, they just have the same comebacks over and over and over. So you don't even have to work that hard.
I know.
You can just.
I had that era when I was first trolling on my old account. R.I.P. Nick Foster jokes. You will be missed. But I used to come up with tons of funny comebacks in the comments, and people would be like, "How do you come up with such funny and quick comebacks?" It's it's pretty easy when they have the same 5 insults over and over.
Right. I usually just kind of recycle mine a little bit,
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm coming up with a lot. Have you ever had a little mini argument with the 5-year-old, how they always win, they always feel like they won and all they say is you're stupid. You'll have some articulate thing to say to them and they won't understand it and they'll just be like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
And they'll walk away. That's kind of how it is with all these kids.
You got to water it down a little bit. Yeah. You got to hit them where it hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say, no, you. That's half my comebacks. All these people get mad with, these trends on TikTok of the no girls with the heart, no heart. And it's I love that because then I can just use that as an easy, witty comeback for almost anything they say. I just say no heart. And it's I don't even have to try. And people are like, well, that was really witty. That was creative. You used their own thing against them. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the setups. Yeah. Or the OK Wallet. I did love the OK Wallet days. Notice how that dies down. You see these trends come and go where it's no heart for 3 weeks and then they move on to something else. And before that, it was OK Wallet. And I would just be like, OK, birth canal. OK, hole. You could do literally any variation of that. And it's how dare you say that? You are a misogynist. OK, go make some babies. It's so easy. And then they just move on.
Yeah. I don't really see how wallet is an actual insult.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm totally cool with being called a wallet.
Yeah.
I like being rich.
You open your wallet and they'll open their legs. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works, dude. I'm glad you understand.
Yeah, that was one of my jokes too. I take whatever they say and I just make jokes off of it by leaning into it. That's the best move. And I had tons of those. I did that one, some variation of that where I'm like, okay, you open your legs, or I open my wallet, you open your legs. That's how this works. And then they'd freak out and be like, that's so evil, so misogynist. It's like, I'm playing your game. And then one time I did just like act like a wallet. I pulled out my wallet and just like talk like a puppet with it. And it's just funny content then. I forget what I did with it, but it makes it so easy. You just lean into what they say and take it to the extreme. And then they're like, that's actually the best way to handle, like, all these people kids especially, who don't know how to handle bullies and don't know like how to use wit and comedy and self-deprecation to like come back at things. The best thing to do is take any insult somebody says and just say yes, lean into it, and use it to your advantage to like make fun of yourself. And very quickly people are just moving on because they're bored. They're like, oh, this doesn't even hurt his feelings. I guess we'll stop saying it to him.
Oh yeah. No, well, honestly, they've cancel culture has been in my TikTok comment section for quite a while now. But like I've noticed, I mean, they're starting to die out a little more now because all we're doing is you kind of just have to you got to like bully them back a little bit, just kind of go with the flow, and
it comes in waves. It comes in waves. When you step into some new issue and people don't know you, it can spark off and a lot of haters come at you, but then they catch on that you're just doing it for clout and they're helping you, and then they kind of stop, and sometimes they just catch on to what your gimmick is.
Right.
It definitely
but it's like they can't stop. They like have this like thing inside of them that makes them keep going. They want to keep like telling you how they feel. But little do they know, it actually keeps giving us clout. And even when they do leave, we're still going to keep getting clout.
Yeah.
It's too late.
And they say it as if we care. Like, oh, this hurts your feelings specifically? Oh, I'll never say it again. Like, why do I care about your specific feelings? My joke isn't about you specifically.
Right. Like, get off my case, Amanda.
Yeah.
Come on now.
And it does just help. And especially if you lean into it, which I see you are doing a lot, because you got on TikTok originally. And I talked to you about this when we met. And I kind of noticed you are doing a switch in your content where you were kind of super positive when you first got on. You were doing very like equality posts and bringing people together and saying, don't worry about our differences, especially on the race issue, because your girlfriend's black. So you have a unique perspective. And that obviously gives you a lot of credibility and also defense for any type of racial slur or racist slurs they might throw at you. And your girlfriend seems to be a good sport and be a part of it. But I recognized you right away of like, oh, this guy's cool. He's not backing down, but he's kind of like flipping it on its head and going the positive route. But very quickly you kind of switched into what I'm doing, where you're like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Technically I'm still making videos with equality, because I mean, we have we have all these people that are, throwing out insults towards everybody else. And all I'm doing is treating them equally as I would with anybody else. So I have a lot of people that are calling me, transphobic and homophobic and stuff like that, because like, I made fun of a trans person.
How dare you?
I know. Well, I mean,
the term is not trans person. The term is man, because they have a penis. Oh, I'm canceled. Oh,
dude. Yeah, definitely. That's, I was definitely, I was feeling it in the comments for a couple of days there over that one, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like like if you're going to disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you back. But that's equality, though.
Yeah.
You want to be treated just like every other person. You don't want to be treated differently. So that's all I'm doing, is treating you differently.
You bring the same energy.
You the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was kind of my whole thing on my old account, was I would just find these ridiculous things that people would say, whether they were arguments or jokes or whatever. The kill all men is a good example. And then you just do some like, okay, rape all women. I didn't really go that route, but there were certain angles I would do of that, and watch them flip out. And it's like, how dare you say this? It's like, I'm bringing the exact same energy you brought if you think what I said is ridiculous. And that's a simplified example, but there was a lot where I would take whatever, like they do a bunch of points and I would do the exact same format with the counterpoints, and it would just make them go nuts. Another one would be, women who are like, they just blatantly put out a post saying, only men, I ignore men under 6 feet tall or whatever. And then you just say, oh yeah, I ignore women who are over 130 pounds. How dare you say this? And it's like, we're showing you how simply wrong what you say is. And your reaction should let you know how other people react to what you say, except we don't because we're actually tougher. We're just kind of throwing it back in your face. But I did a lot of that stuff, and now I feel like I have to lay off it because TikTok obviously banned my account. I don't know what for, but I'm like, maybe if I stay away from some of that stuff, I can. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm figuring it out.
I'm assuming it was probably the rape stuff, most likely.
I don't know, honestly, because I got that post banned. Actually one got banned, the big one that first started off the controversy. And then I did the other one where they said, don't joke about rape. And I said, okay, I won't. Implying I would do it, and it's like, that's a funny joke because it's pointing fun at myself of like, I got canceled for making the joke and I shouldn't joke about it. And then, okay, I won't joke about it. I'll just do it. It's like, it's a dark joke. I get it. But that got banned. And then I appealed it and they put it back. It got millions of views, I think even like millions of likes. And it was weeks later when I got banned. So I'm not sure if that was the thing. The final joke I actually got banned on was a Lizzo joke. And I think maybe.
Oh, that's it. That's got to be it.
Could be that because she's on there. And I did a lot of Lizzo jokes in my early TikTok career. Thank you, Lizzo. You're a big inspiration to me. If you see what I did there.
I remember those days. Yeah. Like, I remember seeing you when you first started. You didn't have a whole lot of followers. I was like, who is this? Who's this Gumpy guy?
That's the problem. I never got on TikTok being like, I'm just going to make fun of Lizzo. I never thought twice about Lizzo, but I made one joke and then everybody got mad at me. And you guys know my style by now. If you get mad at a joke I make, I'm going to make 10 more. That's just what I do. But then Lizzo's on the platform and everybody starts tagging her. And I do have a principle that I live by. I actually do have a code of I don't make personal insults to people. And I'm not trying to personally bully people. I think celebrities and big pop stars and politicians are fair game. So I do believe Lizzo is fair game. And I was using her as a proxy to kind of just make fun of people who are getting mad at fat jokes, kind of. But she's a celebrity for being fat for a big reason, that's a big part of how she got famous in her image. But then she's on the platform and people are tagging her and everything. And I'm like, okay, this kind of feels bad. I'm not trying to like have her see these jokes. I'm just making jokes. But okay, I'll lay off the Lizzo jokes. And then it was like months I didn't make any. And she was getting bigger and more, known on the platform. And then I made one night when I was up in Georgia. I was on vacation, and that was the last post I made. And I woke up the next day and I was banned. I don't know if it was that, but it could be. Yeah. It could be she was like, "Yo, fuck this guy."
Yeah, I mean the celebrities have a lot of power on the app, so I guarantee it had to have been her.
And they do have a clear thing about targeted bullying, but it says of private figures, not of public figures. She's a public celebrity. However, there are, with Chris D'Anelli getting banned 10 different times, however many, a big reason why he got banned was because of his followers going into harass people that he duetted. That seems to be the real reason he got banned, not making the faces. It's that he would duet people and they would receive a lot of harassment. That was a lot of the posts I was making too. Yeah. So I feel like it could be a mix of those. I don't think it was just the rape joke because that was a dark joke, but it was a joke and it wasn't sending hate, and it wasn't. I don't know. I just don't know if that was the thing.
Yeah, I know. I've had a lot of problems with duetting. Like before, it was no big deal, but as soon as I had started getting like more followers, I can't just duet people and like call them out on stuff because otherwise I get in trouble. Yeah, it's like I'm the one that has the following, so people cry. Mm-hmm. They want to whine about me bullying them. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going out of my way to bully you. You're starting it. I'm just finishing it. That's all I'm doing.
I'm better at it, and I got a bigger platform. But it is true. It's like that's what I was recognizing as I was growing too. It hit a point where like I made my audience start growing because of doing this, but then it got so big, and then people are like, "You have a responsibility of what you do," and it's like, "You're right, I kind of do." but I'm just realizing, you're learning as you go. You have to make some mistakes to be like, oh, I didn't mean to send this person with 10 followers 100,000 comment, it's
Right.
like, that's overwhelming for some small creators. So now I try to be more selective of, do they have a big following? Are they in the 50,000 club, or are they just 100 followers, and I try to be like, okay, they came at me, but I'm not going to hit them back. Not all the time. It depends on what they say, but you got to learn as you go.
Yeah, I mean, like if they, I go after videos that have like a lot of views now, so like I do find occasional accounts that try to like rip on me, and they have like, maybe like 30 followers or something, and like 20 views on the video, and I'm just like sitting here, shoot, dude, if I this is just unfair, like I want to, but at the same time, it's I don't know, it's kind of uncalled for.
I know. And that's the thing. For as much shit as we get and accounts like us get, I do actually take a lot of time to consider the effects and think if it's worth it and try to find the proper line and whether it's deserved. And, but then people are just like, you're just a bully and you don't even care and you just want to hurt people. It's like, no, I really don't. Most of my reactions were never mean spirited. They were just bringing the same energy that the person brought me. And yes, sometimes my original duets would be somebody who just popped up on my For You page and I would just mock their point. And that's like, they weren't talking to me specifically, but now my rule is like, okay, I won't do those. But if somebody specifically makes a video about me and tags me in it, even if they're small and they're talking shit, well, they do kind of deserve, you can hit back when it's personal to you. I think that's fair for anybody.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's been my case this whole time. But even then, even like I have kids that are calling me out and, acting all big and bad, but it's like, dude, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to handle the heat, dude.
I know.
Like, even if my comeback is weak, my followers are still going to go in there and just go ham, so, but I mean, I feel like I'm pretty quick with the comebacks, pretty decently clever.
Yeah.
For the most part,
But like you say, you don't even really have to be at a certain point. Once your audience loves you and they're ready to pounce, Yeah. And then you got to take that into account. I did that as well, where on this new account, where some guy who had a big following, he's on one of my early videos. He made a video like roasting me for no reason. I don't even know the guy. He didn't like my content. He roasted me for the full minute. And he was saying, what are you going to do? Call me a snowflake or whatever? And it's like, I could roast him back and whatever. But there I knew, like, I'm just going to send my audience after him and he's going to be overwhelmed. But I knew if I just said, because he basically accused me of having fake, he was like, you bought all your followers because look how little likes you have for how many followers. Because I just started my new account. I had gotten banned. So I lost everything and I was starting over. And he was like, all your followers are fake. And I was like, well, I'll prove to you my followers aren't fake. If they were fake, or if I didn't buy all my followers, they would have flooded your comment section. Yeah. And I was just going to have them flood the comment section. But then I caught myself and I said, if I just make them go flood the comments, they're going to say all kinds of vicious, mean shit. But if I say specifically, flood his comment section with snowflake emojis, they'll just do what I say and they'll just keep it snowflake, which is not mean. It's not going to kill, it's not death threats and all this. And I kind of like realized if I just let them loose and say they're going to flood your comments, it would be a lot of mean comments. But because I kind of steered them into the snowflake, he still got overwhelmed with comments and he was a big account and he came after me and I think he can handle it and he deserved it. But it was benign. It was snowflake emojis. It was just 20,000 of them. And that's crazy. And it's overwhelming. But it's like that type of thing I think is very responsible. That was me realizing, like, I don't want to just let them go with like a free pass to say anything. I want to kind of direct them into something that's not too mean. But he still cried and freaked out and said, I got 10 death threats on DMs. And it's like, that's not like, welcome to the club, bro. Welcome to the club.
That's an everyday thing, dude. I get death threats every single day. I get people that are trying to dox me. It's just.
So has any 12-year-olds showed up to your door yet?
No, I haven't. I've seen some people mimic that. making duets to my video. You know, the one where I turn around and I said, do it. Like come to my house. Mm-hmm. There was a few duets of these edgy little 12-year-old, 13-year-old girls that would, grab the keys and walked out the door as if they're going to drive to my house. It was cute. It was funny. But yeah, you can tell they really hate me.
Yeah.
So
that reminds me of another one where we're talking about like the duets on my old account. There was one kid, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14, I don't know, made a video about, or made a comment on one of my videos. Your skull would look nice crushed under my car tire or something. You see, this is the type of shit that we get all the time. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to respond to this guy's comment and I'm going to roast him and he's going to learn his lesson. But how do I roast him? I don't just say, oh, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to fight you or something like that's low.
Yeah.
So instead, I was like, I always go like nice and I kind of keep it soft. And I just said, oh, well, I saw that sounds like a threat, but I looked at your profile and you look 13. So you'd have to ask your mom to drive. That's all I said. But it sends hundreds of my followers, probably thousands, to where they're commenting like, that was mean, you're rude. And they start giving the same energy back. You should get crushed under a car tire or whatever the fuck they say. This guy cries and breaks down and freaks out and begs to delete the video. And I'm just like, bro, you said some vicious shit. And I just said some super I just kind of agreed with you, but I just kind of made fun of like, you're not old enough to do anything. What are you going to do? Show up at my house? You're going to ask your mom to come. You're going to drive across the country and get a plane ticket to find me so you can say you're mean? What are you going to do? Oh
my God. Well, the thing is, these kids are so used to, not having any type of discipline for the things that they do. I feel like a lot of these kids that are like this never get disciplined by their parents. So they think that they can just do whatever they want, say whatever they want, and nobody's ever going to retaliate because, they're so spoiled.
Yeah.
So it kind of, it shocks them, when we have people like you and I that are on the platform messing around with them and, poke them back. Oh. And then all of a sudden, I feel like people like us, we're like their only form of discipline.
I could see that. I mean, we are kind of playing like the big brother roles without even, maybe not in the mentor way, but it depends on your perspective. Cause I'm sure you get a lot of DMs from people who are fans and like you, and they really look up to you and they think you're an inspiration for it resonates with their personality. Cause I get a lot of those. And then from the haters end, they're just like, oh, you're just teasing me and bullying me, even though I disagree with that characterization, but we're kind of treating them like a little brother, like just kind of poking back at them. And a lot of people freak out,
Yeah. They don't really, they don't acknowledge the fact that they're coming after us first.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, you guys are old. You need to grow up and ignore it. And it's like, why? Yeah. They're making content for us.
I know. I don't even hate it. I love it because it is content. It's just fun entertainment. And I can see from their perspective, they are thinking like, you have thousands of followers and thousands of comments. I'm just sending this one mean comment and they think you're not going to see it or read it. It's going to be ignored, but they don't realize we get thousands of those comments. So it adds up to be a lot more than anything they've ever gotten or dealt with. And we do deal with that all the time. And we do read those comments and we can respond to those comments. And sometimes they set them up perfect to just knock them out of the park. And then they're like, oh my God, I just got 100 comments on my recent video saying I'm a snowflake or whatever. And to them, that's overwhelming. And it's like, we deal with those every single second of our day.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
And then they learn their lesson. I think it's a valuable lesson because people think the way you deal with and teaching people and teaching them like how to grow up and have wisdom and see things from different perspectives. And you could say it from different ways, but that the best thing to do is sit them down and say, that wasn't very nice and you shouldn't do that, and lecture them. That doesn't work. That's not going to change their mind or their perspective. Right. But when they get a little taste of what they sent out and it comes back at them tenfold, they are like, oh my God, I don't want to do that again. Lesson learned. And I've had many of those where I'll get DMs from somebody I duetted who was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have left that comment. I didn't mean it. I've deleted it. Could you delete the video? And I'm like, no, that's my video now. That's my content. However, thank you. I'm glad you learned your lesson.
Right.
Keep that in your head next time you go to leave this vile shit on somebody else's post.
Mm-hmm.
And they learn.
What you can do is you can just delete your account.
Yeah.
and start over.
And there's a
I don't have
lot
to
of
delete
that.
anything.
There is a lot of that. I've had so many times where I duet somebody and within minutes, their account is completely clean and deleted. They just run away. It's fun.
That's the best part is when you actually have something witty to say back to somebody, and then they, they'll either private their whole account, take it down. They'll take down the video. I don't think I've had a video yet where they limit the comments at least.
No, there's stages of it. The first is they delete the comment. That's the first. Oh, I don't want that there. I don't want them to find us. The second is they private their account. The next is they lock down their comments or delete comments or limit their comments, and then they delete their entire account. I've had all of those stages, and I never my goal is never to do that, but it is kind of funny when you see it, like how fast it happens. Like, dude, lesson learned, huh?
I had oh man, dude. Okay, you're probably gonna like this one. So I had this girl. I think she was like a 16-year-old girl that was just spamming my comment sections and stuff. And for the most part, I wasn't really responding. You know, I saw her comments and whatnot. You know, she was just ripping on me. And then there was this video she posted on after the whole what's that dude's name again? Curtis or something like that.
Oh, Curtis Connor.
Curtis Connor.
We do need to talk about that actually. I guess
So,
we're connected.
Oh, dude. So, so this girl basically just like repeats whatever he said about my LED lights or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, they're all just recycling each other's jokes.
I get the same.
She comes on, she says that, and I go to her profile and I noticed that her hair was thinning. And so I, responded to her and I was just like, hey, your hair's thinning. You should probably chill out on the hair dye. And then she made like 3 videos, like crying about it, about her hair, and trying to call me out in her video and stuff, like saying how I responded once to her comment. That's all I said. And she shaves her head off, dude.
What?
She shaves her hair.
All right, you're gonna have to send me this. I want to look at this. I want to look at this profile.
Oh my God, dude.
It's. Those are so funny. I mean, I try not to do as much as I do like the Lizzo jokes. Like I say, she's a celebrity. I try to steer away from like the personal insults about the looks. But when they come after you, I mean, I don't know if you should go from the LED lights to her looks. But when I saw the video you did where somebody was calling you old and then you called her fat, and I think that's fair. You're judging somebody for their body or something they can't control, even though you can control being fat.
Right.
Well,
firstly,
I think that's on the same level.
Yeah, she said way more than just the LED lights. It's just it looked bad because I was responding to the LED one, but at that time I was just like, oh my God, this girl doesn't shut up. Yeah, like I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
But I know what you mean about you respond once and then they make 10 videos on you, and it's I've had a lot of that. Yeah, I saw that video. We should talk about his video and what you thought of that, because I'm getting the same thing where people are just responding the same jokes he made, which were fucking terrible. Like, okay, you're too old to like colored lights. What kind of fucking shit is that? Like, aren't you too old to like enjoy pizza? Or like, we're making video content. Colored light adds an aesthetic. Why is that?
Yeah, I like the colored lights.
Who grows up and is like, nah, color. I don't like color. Get that out of here. Oh, this cool vibe and ambiance that I can switch. You go in. Have you ever gone to like a rich dude's backyard and he has all these colored lights on the trees to really like make the backyard pop? What do you think that is? Some fucking tween? It's like it's a nice aesthetic. It's better than just beige walls. Like, what kind of insult is that?
That's how I feel about it. I think it makes some videos look nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Like I should, we could tell him that he's too old for all the YouTube editing that he's doing.
No kidding. So I'm trying to figure out, I need to respond to him. The problem was, so if you guys don't know, Curtis Connor is a big YouTuber. I guess I'm giving him the free clout that he wouldn't give me. Made a whole video. He's got like 2 million something followers. I mean, I've seen his stuff. It's whatever. I like it. I don't dislike it. I see what his style is. But yes, it's so over the top editing and like reliant on sound effects and little quirks. Like, what is your audience? You're crying about LED lights, just that he makes the ambiance better. You're using like sound effects like you're editing for a 8-year-old child. Who's your audience? And I want to respond to him. And he did this whole expose on dark humor, which included you, included me, included Danelli, which he's not even a dark humor guy. I was like, first off, the first half of his video was about Danelli J, who has never made a dark humor joke ever on the app. All he did was make faces, and he's like pretending like he's the face of dark humor.
Right.
I didn't get it.
And the best part was that he made Toby seem like he was like this righteous guy. I'm like, oh my God, of course he does. Do you not see what that kid is doing? It's
he just doesn't like our shit, and he likes their shit, and that's all. The whole video could be broken down to, I just don't like your type of humor or your type of comedy or your type of content. But I'm friends with these guys, and I like that. Like, that's all you were saying in the video, basically. But you're acting like you're
and repeating TikTok comments that people have already said. So he basically just used TikTok comments and use them as the insults in the video. So then people are coming to me. People are going to my profile and stuff and saying like, "Oh, Curtis Connor totally roasted you, dude." Like, no, he didn't.
He dragged you so hard. It's like, why? What's happening in my life here? First off, with you, I don't know if he even showed your name. With me, he would not. He was like, I'm not even going to say your name because I know how much you like it. Yeah, you know why you're not going to say my name and give me free clout? Because he wouldn't use my name. He censored it out in everything. Why would you do that if what you were saying was going to make me lose followers or get a bunch of haters? Is it maybe because it would actually help me gain followers? Because people would search me out and be like, I like this guy. He's funny. His jokes are pretty good. Maybe that's the reason. I think that could be the reason.
I think so. I mean, he did put my name in there.
Yeah. He straight up said, he made a point to say, I'm not going to say his name. And then he just called me Buzz. And so everybody's calling me Buzz Lightyear. Like, that's the insult. Like, so my comments are filled with them. Whatever. Again, you are giving me clout. This is how I got followers in the first place, is a bunch of hate comments.
Right.
But how is calling me an iconic character from Toy Story an insult? It's like also, this guy is literally saying how this isn't good comedy. Oh, you think you're so funny. Try doing this at a stand-up comedy show. Do you go up on stage and be like, hey, this guy, he has buzz cut. He's like Buzz Lightyear. Ha ha.
But it's
get it, guys? Buzz and Buzz Lightyear, like, that's what his fucking jokes were. But he edits it and he puts all these flashy things, and it's like, bro, you're a child. Your shit is weak.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it. It does make it more funny, I guess. You know, when you add all the edits and stuff, it definitely pleases
if you don't see through it. Which is what I'm watching. I'm just like, really, dude? You like just go.
Honestly, I laughed.
I did too.
I thought it was kind of funny. Like, I mean, he ripped on me, but it was just, I was disappointed. If anything, because I was just like, dude, you're making a YouTube video, you know, and all you're doing is repeating the same comments. I actually probably would have liked the video if he used his own comebacks and ripped on me. Like, he could have ripped on me for my weak jawline.
He did that. By the way, what was his whole thing? He did the exact same thing. He just called you old. Like, and his joke was, you look old enough to be my dad's dad. Like, dude, you're fucking 30. How old are you? 30? 29? Like, the kid, like, how old is he? 21? Like, okay, bro, good one. I mean, it was an exaggeration to even say your dad, and you're like, my dad's dad. And even if that was true, that's your argument. You're old. And you're ripping on him for making a point about trans issues or gender issues or whatever type of thing that you think is off limits. And all you do is go, haha, you're old. Right. That was your criticism.
So that whole drama with that, I think that Gia guy girl person. He actually had a really good comeback. You know, he was talking about how I'm going to be, you know, I need to pay my taxes so, you know, he can transition into a woman. And I thought that was good. That was actually really good. That was a massive roast. I'm kind of pissed that my video got taken down and, you know, his stayed up. But, you know, it was kind of, you know, the fact that this guy's comebacks were just like repetitive, you know,
It was,
comments.
you're too old to have lights. You're too old to be on TikTok. You're too old to be making jokes about teenagers. You're old. That was his jokes. And you're not even that old.
So Gia's was way better. Yeah. Honestly, that was probably the only decent roast that I've seen. Still pretty weak, but it was still, I'll give him credit. So.
Well, I went into it. First off, I expected this video to come because he had made a video about Russell Hartley weeks ago. Russell Hartley is a friend of mine from TikTok, not in personal life, but just on TikTok. And we've talked and we've collabed. And I like the dude and I get what he's doing. And he's not even making jokes or dark humor or anything. He's just like teaching dudes how to get women, which is a real thing. And somehow it's being misconstrued. I don't know, but they came after him and he just made a whole video destroying this guy. And so I was like waiting for, okay, they're going to come after me eventually. And sure enough, the video comes. You had texted me being like, we should talk about these YouTube guys. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I was getting tweets and I was getting mentions and I was like, oh, Curtis Connor made a video. And I was on vacation. I was traveling that weekend. So that I couldn't respond to it. I haven't been on TikTok for a week. And I was literally in my car in a parking lot traveling when the video hit. And I'm watching it like, okay, let's see what he says. This is going to be an epic roast. And then I watched the whole thing and I'm like, that's it? That's what you had to say is you're old. He won't even say my name because he knows I'll just gain followers from it. He brings out 3 examples of videos that I think I'll have to watch it again because I want to do like a full response eventually. And one video was like from my IRL account, which was just like real videos of me in life. I wasn't even making jokes and he thought it was some joke I was making. It was like, this isn't even a funny joke. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't on my jokes account at all. It was just like me hanging out at the beach with some friends. And I was like, that's not dark humor, first of all. And it's not even a joke. Why are you bringing this up? And then he brought up a joke that was clearly a joke, but it wasn't dark humor. And he's like, I've never heard you make a joke in your life while showing a joke I made. Ignored all the videos I made on my old account. I had over 1,000 videos. You're telling me not a single one had a joke? Where am I getting all these followers from? You know, it's like there's clearly something there. Never said anything about that. And then he brought out the rape joke that was like, don't joke about rape. And I was like, okay, I won't, which is a joke. That's the only dark humor joke. It was good.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
And he's like, you are just a terrible person and this is awful. And it's like, one, that is a joke. You know it is, whether you like it or not. And it is a dark humor joke. And I showed my girlfriend that joke and she busted out laughing when I showed her. I showed my mom that joke and she didn't get it at first because it's a joke you have to watch a couple times. And as soon as it sunk in, she busted out laughing. Like it's a good joke. And it was relevant to what was going on my page. So there was a whole context and a backstory. And like, that's all he did was just say, I'm not going to give you clout. I'm not going to say your name because what, and it's like, you're kind of just saying I'm relevant by doing that. Like I'm just going to grow bigger. It was so weak. And so like there was nothing. And then he just called me Buzz Lightyear because I have a buzz cut. And he said, I'm short, like a foot tall. You saw me in real life. Am I a foot tall? It's like, what kind of insult is that? We're both giants.
Right.
And I was like, you made a 30-minute or it was like 25-minute video. And all you had to say was you're old. Your jokes weren't funny, and here's an example that wasn't even a joke, and I ignore all the jokes you actually made, and this joke I don't like, therefore you're bad. I don't like that was his breakdown basically.
Yeah, it was basically it was a pointless YouTube video.
It was so pointless.
I appreciate it though. You know, thanks for bringing some more viewers over to my channel.
That's where I'm mad because I'm like, yes, I would have got clout off this, and he knew. And I'm just like, which is kind of respect too, because you wouldn't do that to somebody if you didn't think they would gain a following. If you actually, like, he didn't censor Russell Hartley's name because in his mind, he's thinking, I'm going to ruin this guy's image. And it has kind of hurt him. And Russell's dealing with it and he's combating it. And I give him mad respect. But the guy wasn't afraid of giving him clout because he knew what he was posting was going to hurt his career. And he knew what he posted about me was just going to help my career. So I'm kind of like, wow, mad props, bro. Thanks for the respect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've kind of once you have a established audience, especially when you have an audience of trolls.
Yes.
You can't get canceled, dude.
When your brand is dark humor, and that's the other thing. I'm not even dark humor. I've never branded myself as a dark humor guy. I've made a few dark humor jokes. I like dark humor, but I've never said that. I said I'm sarcastic, I do satire, and I mock things. That's all I've said. I'll make insensitive jokes. I'll make edgy jokes. I'll make offensive jokes. I'll say all of that. I've never claimed to be this dark humor comedian. And somehow people have it in their head that that's all I am, when really I'm a troll. And when you lean into having a brand of trolling and just trying to piss people off, and that's the joke, you can't cancel somebody. What are you going to do? Everything you do, I can just lean into and spin in my favor. And he knows that. And that's why he was like, I'm not even going to say his name.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, my channel, I didn't get any loss of followers at all. No. I just gained more from all those. So it's like people understand. Like the whole point of my content is to push cancel culture away.
Me too.
Because they're so toxic. Yeah. We need to be able to say stuff like this to keep triggering them. Because, we got to be able to show everybody else. If anything, we are inspiring other creators to be able to nut up a little bit, not be so afraid to speak your mind, even if it is offensive.
Yeah.
We can't just be like dancing around and, trying not to hurt people's feelings all the time, because I don't want to live in that type of society where everybody's super sensitive about every little tiny thing. Like, fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
I want to, we need to piss people off a little bit and stir it up a little bit, because people are crying over little things. Like, let me give you a reason to cry.
Which still isn't a reason, because it's just jokes on the internet. It's not real. And I agree, man. We have to, and that's, a lot of people are like, because I've said certain things like this about pushing back on cancel culture, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. And people are like, you're so full of yourself and you think you're some superhero or something. It's not like that. It's not like what I'm doing is going to change the world, but it is giving people somebody as an example to be like, I can do that too. The more people who stand up and say, I refuse to apologize, the more other people who are scared to speak up or are backing down or are getting pushed around, they can say, okay, I'm going to go over here with these guys who don't make me do that and are down to say jokes, and I can just support them. And it just creates this groundswell of support of more and more people who have examples of, look, this person doesn't apologize and they're thriving. Instead of just seeing example after example of every time you say anything offensive, your career's over, you're fired, you're deleted from the app, you're whatever, Yeah. And when you talk about like a war, this is a culture war, and people don't realize it's going on all the time, and it's going on around us. And the cancel culture people are winning the war because they're winning Twitter, and they're winning social media, and they're winning the mainstream media, and even politics and Hollywood. And it's like trench warfare, where the whole reason to say these offensive things and kind of push the edge, it's not like I think it's so groundbreaking to say some of the things I do, or it's so hilarious. It's that I know it's just holding the line. It's saying, you can't push me off this. I don't care if you say this is over the line. I'm holding the ground, and I'm holding the spot right here, and I'm not giving it up. And you can't push any further than here. I'm pushing back on you, and I'm letting other people come and be like, okay, that's where I'm going to be. And we're just holding the ground. It's trench warfare. I'm never going to give an inch. Exactly. And I'm going to keep holding it. And I'm going to push further and further, little by little by little, until the line moves somewhere else. That's how it works.
I agree. Honestly, even if I get my account banned, which probably will happen pretty soon.
Yeah.
At least I was able to actually make somewhat of a difference, like make somewhat of a dent into this whole thing with TikTok. I mean, TikTok, it's a pretty huge app. But like, we got to be able to start somewhere where we can bring back comedy, dude, and actually being able to laugh at things. Laughing is healing.
Yeah.
If we're going to sit here and get depressed and upset about every single little thing, dude, we're all going to die early. Like I don't want to be stressed out and crying about every little thing, being a little baby. You know, if anything, we're just getting people ready for the real world, kind of. You know, this is like light work, what we're doing, because, you know, the stuff that you hear out in the real world is a lot more harsh than the stuff that we say online. You know, we're censored online.
Yeah, heavily.
You know, so if you get offended by my stuff or your stuff, you know, you're gonna be in for it when you go out into the real world and you go out into the workforce and stuff.
Yeah. And it's not just jokes and like, you know, because so many people say, well, dark humor or whatever, because again, they think it's all dark humor. It's like, no, I'm just telling jokes and I'm just provoking and I'm trolling. It's a different art form. It doesn't all have punchlines or whatever, but they think it all has to be funny or be a joke for it to be acceptable. It's okay just to have crazy ideas. You don't have to even be telling jokes. You can just say your opinions, even if they're not mainstream. I think that is perfectly fine, and we need to make that normal too.
Yeah, I mean, my stuff, I haven't really been telling jokes at all, honestly. Mine's just been roasts, roasting people and just stating factual information.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is people will flip out over all these things when you just say something that's so benign and just a fact. Like when you do say like a trans woman is actually a man, people will flip their shit as though that's some crazy statement, and it's like, but it is. It just is
a male, dude.
And that's what makes it so funny and edgy to do, because you know people are gonna lose their fucking minds by just saying there's only two genders. What? Oh my God. And even if you disagree with that, why would you lose your brain over? You could just be like, well, I disagree and here's why. That's what you would do about almost anything else. And they lose their minds when you say something that's just so basic as like that.
Right. See, now if it was if people were a little more respectful and you know, and they disagreed with me and they wanted to talk with me on the whole two gender thing, I wouldn't be making videos about there's only two genders. Yeah. You know, I only make it because it pisses people off so much, and that's the troll, you know, and it makes me laugh because, you know, there's so many people that get pissed off in the comments. Like the one video with the whole he, him, she, her, they, them, and their bios and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, when I made that and I captioned it, literally captioned it. I was like, you know, people with he, him, they, them, she, her in their bio are always the most sensitive people on TikTok, or just they're the most sensitive people. And then I put proof is in the comments, and they literally all commented triggered. They were just so upset. And that's
the clever part, because even in Curtis Connor's thing, he had kind of like mocked that video, like ha ha ha, and it's like, you're not getting the joke, bro. The joke is how mad people get, and you set the comments up to prove your point, and that becomes like a clever meta joke that is deeper than something you wouldn't just go up on stage, of course, and say that at a stand-up comedy show, because you need a punchline. Yeah. It's a different art form. But on social media, you're taking into account the video, the replay of the videos, the text and the captions, the comments, the reactions to the comments, the replies to the comments, and how the algorithm is going to spread it and fuel fire. It's like all of those are factors in what makes it an art form, or what the purpose of the video is.
I think he was more trying to make it seem like you know, we're supposed to be these stand-up comedians,
and
it's
we're
like,
not.
Dude, that's a completely different thing.
That's like holding up an Adam Sandler movie as like, well, that wouldn't work on a stand-up comedy stage. It's like, yeah, it's not a stand-up comedy show. It's a fucking movie. It's a comedy movie. It's like breaking apart The Office and being like, I don't get it. This isn't funny. None of these would work on a stand-up comedy show. And it's like, well, why is everybody laughing? It's because it's a different format and it's a different type of humor. It's not a setup punchline. It's a situational humor. It's a character humor. It's an ongoing, like, it's like taking you know, Michael Scott, and he's ironically being a naive idiot, and that creates funny situations. There's a lot of different forms of comedy and humor. And TikTok and the internet is its own medium. It's not a movie. It's not a TV show. It's not a stand-up comedy show. It's not a public stage. It is a social media app where we are making comedy that's specifically for that medium. It's its own art form. And the obliviousness to his video, and a lot of people who are like, where's the punchline? You are the punchline, bro. You're the fucking punchline, and you don't see it.
Oh man, I'm actually upset that he didn't even understand where the punchline was with my joke about identifying as a little girl.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even.
I was like,
that's not a stand-up comedy joke, but it is a clear satirical skit about a real situation that's highlighting a point.
Punchline is literally being able to identify as a little girl and going into the room, and then the next day identifying as something else. That's the punchline. I don't understand how he missed that.
I was listening to a great podcast today. There's a good guy. I keep repping this dude because I think he's part of the cause and he is good. I'm obsessed with this podcast. His name is Ryan Long, Ryan Long Comedy. He's on TikTok. He did a big viral video that maybe you saw that was like the woke versus the racist guy. And they were like,
he's actually isn't he up and coming? I've heard of him.
I think so. I mean, he's big. I think he's an up and coming comedian, but his podcast and his YouTube channel is really starting to take off. And I've been listening to it a lot. He's great. And he's on TikTok. He's got a bunch of stuff on there. But I was listening to his podcast and he was making a point about like how these types of comedy are forms of humor and people are breaking it apart like it's not. And the example he gave was how you wouldn't go to like a stand-up comedy show and say like, oh, all Asians are terrible at math. Like that's an offensive statement that would never get a laugh because it's not true. The funny part is when you say something that's offensive that you shouldn't say, but has truth to it. Right? So like just going up and be like, oh, Asian people suck at math. People will be like, that's what? Where's the joke? That's not even true. But going up and saying there's only two genders and everybody flips out. And some people will laugh like, oh my God, he actually said the thing that we all know is true. It's the truth to it that lends to the humor. Yeah. There is truth to it. That's why people lose their minds. That's why people laugh. That's why people react. That's why your video that he says is not funny and my video that he says is not funny, why did they get millions of views and hundreds of thousands or millions of likes? That is laughter on the app. This stand-up comedy show, when you tell a joke and the whole room laughs, that means the joke is funny, whether you think it is or not. And when you post a video on TikTok and it gets millions of likes, that is the digital clapping and laughter. That means it's funny or entertaining or whatever the reason is that people enjoyed it. Yeah, and it's like
stuff like that wouldn't have been funny 10 years ago, but now it's funny because people are so sensitive about it.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, dude. I love pissing people off.
So do I. It's its own art form. Trolling is a new form of art and a new form of comedy. Just like comedy has dry humor, sarcastic humor, meta humor, anti-humor, where you're like telling jokes that aren't even jokes, dad jokes, all of these different types of things. There's family-friendly comedy. There's offensive comedy. There's shock humor. Trolling is its own form of art and comedy, but it only takes place on the internet. It only works on social media, and people haven't realized like that's an art form. I am an expert in the art of trolling, and and that was another thing he said is like, it's so easy to offend people and it's hard to make a joke that's funny, that's not offensive. No, it's not. It's hard to make a joke that's super offensive, funny. Go do it, bro. Why don't you go make a rape joke and tell me how easy it is to get people to like it and get 1 million likes on your video? Show me you doing that. I bet you won't. I bet you don't know how to make that funny, but I do. It's its own art form. And I say it's much harder. It's just not harder to piss people off because it's easy these days. You just say something as simple as, yeah, there's only two genders. What? You know?
We're going to get to a point where the only dark humor jokes are going to be knock jokes because we're so, we're pretty well being declined of being able to make any jokes that we want. And we're getting censored for everything.
Well, that's why we're pushing back. That's why accounts like yours, like mine, like many other people on this app, and like hopefully more and more people in culture, and people do this in stand-up comedy too. It's just, it is more of a setup punchline, but there's a lot of people who are not backing down to this cancel culture, and they're pushing back, but it is going to be people who are comedian types, self-employed or internet celebrities or what, people who can't be canceled because unfortunately, if you're a mainstream Hollywood actor or politician or, whatever in the media, you're kind of screwed. Or anybody with a 9-to-5 corporate job, you kind of have to toe the line.
Oh yeah, I'd be totally toast.
Yeah.
If everybody knew where I was working, I would definitely be let go. So I'm glad that I work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we need to keep pushing against it. We got to have, honestly, I would totally encourage more. Well, I mean, we're honestly seeing more and more creators every day now starting to push against it because they just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful because nobody wants to be surrounded by all these stupid people who want to cancel everything for everybody,
it's not
doxing
fun.
People and
it's
shit like that.
It's like going to a party and everybody is just afraid to talk or like tell jokes. That's not fun. Nobody wants that.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's kind of funny because the loudest mouths on the internet are all the social rejects.
Mm-hmm.
They're the reason why we're even here right now, because we're giving all these social rejects the platform, because their opinions are so insane that they just start going viral because of how insane they are. And then people start to think that that's the truth.
And people just, it's easy to fall in line with something like racism is bad. No, that doesn't take courage to say. People think they're fighting like the establishment. It's like, who disagrees with that? So when you stand up and you just post a bunch of things, it's easy to get millions of people to just be like, yeah, racism sucks. But they're afraid to say anything that might paint them as a racist or anything that's racially insensitive or whatever, where like it actually does take courage to sometimes say things that might make it seem like you're racist or make people question. And people don't want that, and they will step down. And whether it's racist or sexist or misogynistic or homophobic or any of these things, it makes people just kind of be like, I'm not going to say anything about that, but I also have my own opinions. And
well, usually the people that are saying those types of things where they they're trying to fight against racism, they're usually the ones that are racist.
I know.
So I don't get it.
I've seen it all the time.
Many people already, like 16-year-old white girls that claim to be this like woke anti-racist person, and they get caught saying the N-word with the hard R. That's happened multiple times. And it's the same type of people over and over. The same people with these same opinions, preaching Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff that they have in their bio, where they're preaching for equality. But they're the most hypocritical people I've ever seen.
It's literally like the Christian preacher who just condemns gay homosexuality and then gets caught like getting blown by some boy escort in his hotel room. Like there's been tons of those stories, and it happens all the fucking time. It's like, I think you doth protest too much, Dude,
you seriously do see that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So besides all this, I've had quite a few comments talking about how we should make a account together.
Oh, shall we?
Spooner, what was it? I think they said Spooner Foster or something like that. I think that's what they said. Spooner Foster account. I don't know.
Nick Spoon. You can be the big spoon.
Big spoon.
Yeah.
Big spoons.
I mean, I'm open to it. I mean, I definitely am trying. And you were saying you're worried about getting deleted anyways. And I think that is probably a possibility. So you got to already be planning, like, what's your backup plan if your account does get deleted?
Well, I do have a second account, but I've been posting a little bit on it to try to keep up with it, as much as I can. But yeah, that would be hilarious. I don't really know how we would do it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we're close enough that we definitely can collab, and I want to start collabing with more people. I'm reluctant to take on more responsibilities. I'm so spread thin of like doing podcasts, trying to get these things going. And the more I try to like team up with other people, then I feel like I have a job, but I'm down to collab and I'm down to do whatever. I've even been asked to join like these hype houses and things, like political hype houses and comedy hype houses and sarcasm. And it's just like, no, I don't want to,
Yeah, I can't because I have my own place.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend. I got to make sure that,
that she's happy and pleased.
What was that?
That you got to make sure she's all sexually pleased and fulfilled.
That's right. The 2-inch Punisher, dude.
Except I know from your content, you just have her held captive in your house. Like, get out. You have her tied up in the back room right now.
Yeah. No, she is. She's not able to go anywhere. She's totally trapped right now.
I love that content. That's a great example of what I was talking about earlier about leaning into what people say. So when they call you a racist or they say blink if she needs help or any of these things, like, girl, we can save you, and you just lean into it and you just make jokes about how she's trapped and kidnapped. That's fucking hilarious. And those videos do well. You get tons of views because it's like, clearly you're not a racist. Clearly you don't hate women. Clearly she's not unsafe. You know, it's like, it just conveys all of that without you like proving it. You're just making jokes.
You're basically making them look stupid.
Yeah.
Because they're saying all these they're giving you all these stupid accusations. And I was getting like an insane amount of comments talking about how, you know, we need to free her over a political opinion. That's all it was that I had. And they flooded my videos. Like all these stupid cancel culture kids going in there and, you know, trying to free my girlfriend. And I was like, you know what? Let's do something about this. Let's go ahead and let's roll with it, because if you fight against it, you know, then it's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
They're going to know that, you know, it's bugging you, and they're going to keep going, you know, and force you to get on your knees and apologize. And I'm not doing that, dude.
Yeah, it shows weakness. If you see how monkeys behave or chimpanzees in the wild, it's like you show a little bit of weakness from the alpha, they're just going to tear you down until somebody else takes your place. And that is what humans are and how they behave. We're just doing it on this cultural scale.
Right. You see, and when you do apologize, they don't forgive you.
No.
And you also lose all the respect from people that actually did support you.
Correct.
So honestly,
never apologize.
Never, ever apologize for anything. Even if you do make a mistake. If cancel culture, like the only time you should apologize is if you, you know, if you're calling yourself out over something. But if cancel culture gets to you first, it's too late. Don't apologize.
My rule and principle, and I'm planning to write a book on this. I started taking a bunch of notes. I have chapter points and different rules that I live by for like the art of trolling and internet, this type of shit that I do on the internet. And one of my rule, and like how to fight back on cancel culture. And one of my principles is never apologize to a mob, only to a person. So like if you did make a joke that really offended somebody, like your girlfriend or whatever, you would apologize to her. You could say, babe, I'm sorry, that was mean, I shouldn't have said that. That's fine. So you hurt your mom, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, I apologize, please forgive me. That's normal. That's fine. But when you have a mob of internet strangers who don't know you, have nothing to do with you, your joke wasn't about them, what you said was, and they're just like, I'm offended. You don't owe them an apology. You don't owe 1,000 or 1,000,000 people who you've never met an apology just because their feelings were hurt. Never apologize to a mob, only to the person, you know?
I agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, I agree with that. I don't really think, you know, it should be any other way.
And so even if you are sorry, I think it's a bad move to apologize. Even if you're like, man, I never thought about that. I didn't know this was going to be so offensive. I still think you probably shouldn't apologize, even if you want to, because you're not going to gain anything. You're going to lose respect, and now the mob will always control you. Because what are you going to do the next time? They say, well, now we're offended again. And you're like, well, this time I don't feel sorry. But you apologized the last time, so fuck you. We're just going to keep coming at you. We know we're going to break you down.
Yeah, because they know that you're weak.
Yeah.
So you have to, you have to. Yeah, I'm always getting, you know, even when I go live and stuff like that, it's my lives are flooded with, you know, a bunch of people challenging me on stuff. Honestly, it's become a little more less toxic now. It's still toxic, but like I actually have people coming from those YouTube videos that are talking to me about stuff, and they get to see the real me.
Yeah.
You know, where we're like talking how like, you know, you and I are right now, about my views on stuff. And some of them actually end up liking me, you know, and they end up staying and following me. Yeah. You know, even though they completely, they hated my guts in the beginning. I mean, of course, like I'm purposely pissing people off as well as you know? So,
but that doesn't mean they know everything about everything you think and feel, because one joke conveys a point of view. that they find offensive. And a lot of people make that mistake of being like, you mock the trans issue, therefore you're some far right Republican conservative who hates gay people and you're racist and you want to deport all Mexican, and they just take it to these extremes. And it's like, my thing wasn't about that at all.
They go to a whole extreme that doesn't even make any sense. They don't even know what homophobic even means or transphobic. They have no idea what it means. All right. Firstly, to be transphobic, okay, you have to hate trans people. Okay, it's not disagreeing with their lifestyle. Disagreeing with their lifestyle is not being transphobic.
Yeah, like the same people who say that, they disagree with us voting for Trump or wearing a. One is the great one is like, don't judge somebody for how they express themselves. You remember the thing on TikTok where it was like, if the little son, you did a video where like a boy comes in is like, can I wear some makeup? And you're like, no. And you just say no. And everybody freaks out like, how dare you abuse your child by not letting them express themselves the way they want? Meanwhile, those same people will flip out if you wear a Trump hat. It's like, I'm expressing myself the way I want. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't control. Well, I don't like it. Therefore, you can't do it. It's fucking, there's so much of this.
Well, see, these, I've seen quite a few duets on that video too, talking about, because I brought up the fact that I'm not going to be giving my kid hormone blockers because apparently there's so many of these other parents that are giving their kids hormone blockers because they had like a conversation with them and they, convinced them that they're another gender. I feel like that's a parenting issue. That's not really a kid issue.
That's the real abuse.
So I'll tell you a story. Okay. So when I was young, I was watching MTV, okay, and there was I think it was NSYNC or something like that, dude. I had a man crush on this one guy. Yeah, dude. I don't remember. I think it was Lance.
Oh, it fucking would be. It would be. Lance is gay. You knew it. You had the gaydar. See, that's guys, right, he's not homophobic. He's secret. He's just in the closet.
See, this is what happened, dude. I thought he was a really attractive guy, and I'm like, I'm a 12-year-old boy, and I'm like, wait, I'm not supposed to think that other men are attractive, and I went to my mom about it, and I'm like, Mom, is it like I think I might be gay because I think this guy is attractive, and she was just like, that's completely normal to find other guys attractive. That doesn't mean you're gay. And I was just like, oh, and then it like from there, I just felt totally okay. I'd never had any, like I could recognize when other men are attractive, but it doesn't mean I want to suck their dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but like, I feel like how my mom could have actually, she could have
leaned into it
the right way.
She could have been like well, she could have shamed you, first of all, which could be one extreme.
That would have made me feel even worse. Yeah. So if she went and threw holy water, she could take it to two different extremes.
Yeah.
You have the conservative extreme where you throw holy water on them and be like, oh, we need to take you to church. And, we got to get the devil out of you. Then you realize there's an issue. And then you have the liberal side where they're just like, oh, yes, you're gay. Yeah. You're totally gay.
Yeah, we want you to be gay because we're going to get social brownie points at the local liberal book club or whatever the fuck.
Right. So my mom really just it was just like kind of like a she didn't tell me like, hey, like you're not gay or anything like that. She basically just gave me like an option, and she let me know like, hey, it's completely normal to have to have those type of thoughts. It doesn't mean that this is what you are.
Yeah, that's really good.
But that's how I want to be, when I'm a parent, I want to like guide them, not be too extreme, but also not be stupid.
Yeah.
Where I'm like telling them, just because they think that they are another gender, I'm not going to sit here and encourage it and be like, yes, you are, if that's the way you feel, maybe that's how you are.
Yeah. Kids do all kinds of weird shit and go through weird phases. And that's a real thing. And sometimes it does just take a parent to kind of be like, no. Don't worry about it. Like I actually talked about this on an episode of my podcast with my girlfriend called It's Okay to Say No. That was the episode name. Podcast, quality time. Guys, subscribe. Links in bio. But we were talking about this very issue about, are we going to tell our kid no? And how are we going to raise it if they were turning gay or thought they were trans or whatever? And I was giving the example of like, if a kid comes and does what you had kind of set up in your video of, can I wear some lipstick? Cause you see the mom wearing lipstick. Sometimes it is as simple as like, no, that's for girls. And he's like, oh, okay, never mind. And he just goes on with his life. But you could lean into it and be like, yes, you're so beautiful, and make him really into it. Or you could shame him for it and make him be like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. There's something. And then you have that shame forever that can twist you any which way. And sometimes it is as simple as a kid is just like, hey, that's cool. I want to do that. No, this is for girls. Oh, okay, never mind. I don't want to do that. And you move on with your life, and that could be it.
Well, I feel like naturally kids are not going to, like, boys are not going to want to sit there and, do makeup and stuff like that. They're going to want to go and play with toy cars, and they're going to want to go play in the dirt and do.
In general, that is true.
Yeah.
There are obviously gay boys, and there are obviously trans women who were born male. I don't want to use the wrong term. Don't cancel me, guys. But I think that is tranny, shemale. Do we have any chicks with dicks?
We've already said so many offensive things already. You might as well just go balls out. Dude.
I've been canceled 1,000 times. What's one more?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that exists, but that's going to be a sustained desire and passion and something they're drawn to. It's not just going to be like a fleeting thing of like, can I do this? Can I not do this? It's like, no, don't do that. That's for girls. And you might just move on with your life. And if they keep going back to like, I really want to do this. Well, okay, don't shame them and figure out a way to do that. And that's fine. And I don't have any problem with boys wearing makeup or whatever. These are weird gender norms that, just like a girl playing with wanting to get into fighting or something. It's like, okay, you're into that. You're a tomboy, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
But when you do cross the line, even if you want to present yourself as a woman, okay, that's fine. But when you go to hormone blockers pre-puberty and you go to plastic surgery to drastically change your body and cut off your penis or anything it's like, whoa, you can do that when you're an adult, but we're not going to do that before you've even figured out what sex is, who you are. You don't know who you are when you're 13 years old, let alone before that. You have no clue what you're going to be into, what you're going to turn into, what your body's going to change into. You have no clue. And we all know that because we've been through that. And so when you see parents giving hormone blockers to an 11-year-old, it's like, that's fucked up, yo. I'm not talking about the shame of saying that's bad for him to want to be a girl. It's you don't do that to them.
Right. Because you're stopping their body from naturally developing.
And what happens if they turn into 18 and they're like, actually, I just wanted to be a gay dude. And now they've literally stunted their growth. They've changed their body so drastically. They've maybe even cut off their penis at a certain point. You wonder why suicide rates are so high for the trans community. It's not because they're just being bullied. Maybe it's because they've completely destroyed their body in this very crazy way that allows them to not get sexual fulfillment of who they actually become. And they're they're stuck on that path. There's no going back.
Right.
But you can't even discuss this because you're transphobic,
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can't. I mean, I'm sure I do have ignorant points of views and things like that.
Sure.
And I'm not always right on things.
Yeah.
Hell, I've probably been wrong a few times in this podcast already. But
we're not trying to be right about everything. We're just trying to talk about perspectives and ideas without being shut down and say, you're transphobic, you're dismissed, and you're canceled. That's all.
Right. Well, see, people expect you to just say the perfect thing. They want you to align with their views. And if you don't, you're transphobic, homophobic, whatever it is. You say anything about trans people, you just get canceled. But it's like, dude, don't we need to be telling the truth? Don't we need to be expressing our points of views? And, shouldn't trans people do research before they just go and, actually listen to what other trans people are saying instead of shunning those opinions and throwing them down the drain? Because there's trans people that talk about how they went through the surgery and now they're depressed and now they're suicidal. But yet we want to completely throw those opinions down the window because they don't matter. No, you should be listening to those before you go through the transition. And if you want to take the risk, go for it. No. When you've moved out, you're on your own. You can make your own decisions. If you want to chop your dick off or add a dick on,
which you can't do. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. That's the other thing. It's like we're all talking in these fantasy worlds. Like you can just swap out a vagina for your penis. That's not what they do. They literally have to split your dick in half, invert it, create a wound in your body that's constantly trying to heal itself for the rest of your life. It's trying to heal. You don't magically get a vagina. It's not a vagina. It's an inverted penis that is molded to look like a vagina. It's not the same thing. So to use the word, she has a vagina. No, you don't. Vaginas have labias and they have uteruses and they have all kinds of parts. Well, that's not, you know what I mean? They have parts to them. They self-lubricate. None of that happens with an inverted penis. And oftentimes you can ruin, you're going to lose a lot of sexual pleasure probably and swap it out for pain and discomfort.
Right. And you might as well keep your dick.
We use these words like, oh, they transitioned and now they're a full woman. It's like, what makes them a woman? Because they have a hole? That's it? Right. That's the definition of a woman? That's not true.
It's the way that I identify.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
then there's that too with, okay, I've always felt like a woman in a male's body and I knew I was in the wrong body. How do you know what a male feels like if you've never been a male? Maybe I'm a male and I felt the exact same way as you my whole life too. Maybe that's just normally what a male feels like and you think it's wrong, but it's actually just normal. How do you know if you haven't experienced what a cisgendered person feels like? You don't know if you're feeling something any different. Right. Neither. We don't know what you feel. You don't know what we feel. So we can't say you don't understand. Maybe we all do feel the same thing.
Yeah. I feel like that also aligns into parenting. Yeah. You know, with being able to guide your kids the right way. You know, because otherwise, you know, if you're lost and your parents aren't guiding you, they're being your friend instead of your parent. That's where you're going to have a lot of issues.
Yeah. Just like if your parent is being just a authoritarian figure who forces you to do all these things you don't want to do. And then you wake up when you're 25 and you have a job you hate and a family you hate and all these things because you did everything your parents said. And then your parents die and you're like, but my life's miserable. What did I do this for? It's the same shit. It's like your parents could force you into a life you hate either way by forcing you down a path you don't want or by being your friend and letting you go down a path that you might realize you don't want later.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, you know, all in all, you know, if you make that decision, you know, even if you disagree with it, it doesn't, you know, people got to stop saying that, you know, you're transphobic or you're homophobic. It's okay to disagree with things, but I
find a lot of trans women to be very attractive. Is that transphobic?
Shit. Boom. I mean, I would never date a trans person, but I mean, yeah, you can definitely find trans people attractive, you know? So, but yeah, like what I was saying.
I do wonder how that is though, how they're like, you're transphobic because you don't agree with my point of view. And it's like, yeah, but I actually don't hate them at all. I actually find them quite attractive. Well, you're transphobic still. It's like, what does it even mean at a certain point?
Right. Because
you just don't define them as the exact thing that you want them to be defined as. And, you know, I don't know. It's all very, authoritarian on just accepting definitions of things and just.
Right. Well, that's just going to create actual transphobics when we put all these rules on what is and what isn't transphobic. You know, like if you just look up the definition of, you know, a phobia or being transphobic or homophobic, it has nothing to do with disagreeing with their lifestyle being transphobic. Yeah. You know, it has everything to do with a hatred towards them, which I don't hate trans people.
No,
I don't hate
not
gay
at all.
people. And
I don't even not accept them. I know we just had a rant about this. And unfortunately, this is one of those topics, man, because I talked about this on like the last episode of my podcast. And it sounds like we just talk about trans shit all the time and we don't give a fuck. Most people don't give a fuck. And I'm like, why am I talking about this again? It's because it's one of those issues that's so like shoved into the public discourse and is so divisive and offensive to people. And it's so like strange that we can't just talk openly about something that does seem so black and white. And we have to all pretend like this is some awful thing to say, like, oh, that is a male who is cutting off his penis. It's not a real woman. And it's, oh my God.
And you know this whole podcast is going to be labeled as transphobic, right?
And that's, this is going to become a thing because I think my last episode was like this. And this is just one of those political issues. And honestly, if you are trans and feeling that way out there, no judgment. I don't give a shit. I support you and do all that. It's just we're talking about parents and hormone blockers and drastically changing somebody's physical biology at a very young developing age. That's a different conversation than whether or not you can present yourself as a woman and you have a penis. I think that's fine. You do
honestly,
what you want to do.
If you're a trans person and you're even like you made it this far into the podcast, dude, you're a real one. Even if you completely disagree with the things that we said, which of course there are probably going to be quite a few trans people that will probably come across your video and will disagree with it.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me, it's not really about being corrected or being wrong. It's more of like knowing what those words actually mean.
Yeah.
Being transphobic and homophobic, things like that. Just stop using the words if you don't know what it means. Just because you learned it last week, Becky, you shouldn't be saying, just throwing all these things at people because then people aren't going to take it seriously.
Yeah, we already don't. What does racist mean
homophobics?
Now? It means nothing. Does it mean you hate black people? You're dating a black woman. What does it mean? It's like, what?
Well, see, then that also stems back to, I know
they say,
I have that black friend.
Yeah,
or I have a black girlfriend. So all of a sudden,
you can't win either way with the race thing because you say, I have a black friend. Well, that sounds racist. Well, I have a lot of black friends. Okay, way to prove how woke you are and you have black friends. Okay, is it better if I say I have 0 black friends? I don't know a single black person in my life. Never met one. Never would meet one. That's racist too. It's like you're fucked either way.
That's why I respond with satire because you won't be able to win if you say you're not racist.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could really make it work because now I have a ton of black people that follow me now that
I'm sure
totally respect what I'm saying because
and they all recognize none of them think you're racist. It's white girls who think you're racist.
Dude, yeah, of course. It's white girls and like these black extremists.
Yeah.
Those are the only people that think that I'm like racist. And I'm talking about the people that think that I'm like a white devil.
The truth is
stealing their women.
But they they still don't think you're racist in the traditional sense. They're just spitting a narrative because they hate you for other reasons, but they don't actually think you hate black people.
Could be too.
No. It is. It's so obvious to people who are normal people in the middle, not in the extremes, that you recognize what real racism is when you see it, and it's not just somebody made an insensitive joke on social media. And as much as people don't like to hear it, it's not even when you say a bad word. That's not what makes you racist. It obviously is very rude, and it can make you an asshole, and it can make you get punched out if you say certain things. But sometimes you're just a dick,
Right. Like what I've heard from somebody else. Actually a few of my black friends have told me this. Like they would rather have somebody be openly racist, and tell them, hey, I'm a racist, than somebody that's like trying to hide it and being like a closeted racist. And you can tell when somebody's a closeted racist when they're trying to do so much for you just because of your skin color, and they go out of their way to treat you differently because of your skin color. All you're doing is making yourself seem like you're like this guardian angel that's like above everybody else. And nobody wants to be around a piece of shit like that.
The white savior complex.
A white savior, dude. I can't I hate them. I'm sorry, but like that's the only, those are like the only people I actually hate. And I need to work on that. I need to work on having a little bit more grace. But like, dude, it's so tough because they're so dumb. Like,
do you and your girlfriend talk about these issues a lot? Does she have a lot of opinions on this?
Well, see, yeah, my girlfriend, our views line up like almost the same way. She when it comes to black people and things like that, and like the way, when it comes to white saviors, our views pretty well line up the same way. I think hers might be a little bit different, but I still listen to what she has to say. Like we disagree on when white people come up to you and they, compliment your hair or something like that. Like me, as a white person, I've complimented, black people's hair because I thought it was cool.
And they
it's
hate
different.
that.
And some black people like look at that as if it's it's an insult, or you're really trying to like, go out of your way for no reason. And I don't really look at it that way unless it's the way you word it, I guess, if anything.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those microaggression things where it's just something they've gotten from a lot of those try-hard white people who are trying to prove how not racist they are, and then it comes off seeming racist, and they get that so many times, and then they probably just associate that with, a common thing people do when they're just...
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where it stems from. Yeah. So, like I remember my ex, who was also black.
Jeez, man, you sure are just... I just have this fetish. You are straight up just trying to light skin the whole next generation, aren't you?
I guess so, man.
This is why the black extremists hate you. You're watering down the race.
You're stealing our women. No, I've dated a few black women. I don't know I think it's because I'm tall. Black women attract to me.
Yeah.
I feel like, because like I honestly, I have a lot more black women that attract to me way more than white women.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like black and Hispanic women that attract me the most. Maybe it's because of my height, I guess.
I'm sure that doesn't hurt. Women like tall men.
I also play basketball. That's another thing.
You're also white, and they do like that.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of used to it. I don't know. I was around a lot of black people a lot when I was young. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of something that
I'm sure, like you say, people can sense when you're a closet racist or when you're like uncomfortable around black people, and they can sense when you are comfortable, and they know you're like, that's how they know you're not racist. You're just a normal person. You've been around them, you're comfortable. Just saying things like this, it sounds like, oh my God, around them. And it's like, dude. But there is a difference between people who grow up with a lot, because I grew up in Atlanta where there's a very diverse culture of lots of black people, lots of white people, lots of Asian, big gay community as well. It's just like I kind of was in a melting pot where I'm comfortable around everybody, and people sense that. But then you get on TikTok and you make certain posts about certain issues, because I still have opinions about things, and people are just like, oh my God, you probably, like the amount of people who'd be like, you don't even probably have a black friend. It's like, I have dozens of them. I mean, it's just common. But you say that, and it sounds racist, and you can't defend it. So it's just funny how people assume,
Dude, like 80% of my friends are like black.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your videos where you've literally had a room full of black people just making a video for you, which is funny because it's like, oh, he's just putting them up to this. How's he got all these black people in his house to like get them to be in his video if he's such a racist? How does that work? Please tell me the backstory.
They're not the same. They're not the same black people over and over. No. It's not. I don't have like these are. They're just. I don't understand like what people want from me. Because I at this point I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I mean all my friends know I'm not. I mean I'm not racist. I have different opinions on things. And sometimes like we'll sit there and have debates about things and have conversations where we disagree on certain things. But people take it to a point. They take it to an extreme where if you have one difference of an opinion with a black person, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Or if same thing with gay people,
with
trans people, all that stuff. You're transphobic, homophobic. Mm-hmm. You're racist. You're all these things. You're a misogynist.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it gets so like annoying. But it's always from like it's always from the same people. Yeah. It's like these 16-year-old. White girls and these like cocky dudes with big like hoops in their ear.
The alt community, the gay community, and not all of them, but that's definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of cool gay people out there, but I mean, like some of these people are just so sensitive and they act like a bunch of little pussies.
Oh.
And they they will just sit there and judge you over like a simple thing and just accuse you of all these stupid accusations. And it's like, dude, like I don't even understand why you're even saying this right now. Why are you calling me a racist? Like I saw this one video, dude. There was this girl talking about how if you're not black and if a black person is talking to you, that you need to shut up, you need to listen and do what they tell you to do. And then there was this black person that like duetted it and was just like, okay, delete your whole account.
So you used it against it. It was a white girl who said that, I guess.
Yeah, it was a white woman that said
hilarious.
that and stuff like that. It's like, dude, black people don't want you to do that. They don't want you to sit there and bow down to them unless they are like the extremists. You know, I've seen those where they want you to kiss your feet and shit like that. Like, no, you're gonna get popped in the mouth.
Well, that's the funny. That was the funny meme that was going on too on TikTok for a while, where they would just anything black, you would kneel down and show the respect and people start getting mad. Like, this is a racist meme. It's like they're the funny part of it is they're doing what you actually are expecting them to do, and and now you realize they're just pandering and they're mocking you. And it's, that's not what we should be doing. We shouldn't be treating you like a savior or some hero just because you were black. You're just a dude, and you're cool. Welcome, dude. We like people around here.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it as a way of like, you're not really mocking black people. You're mocking the sensitive people that are in that movement.
Yeah, that
you're only doing it to get, to trigger all the stupid, alt kids.
Yeah.
Because black people don't give a shit about
I know.
So a lot of black people don't give a shit. Some of them do. Some of them
one of the examples, and I wonder if your girlfriend has said anything or thought anything of this, but one of the things I had heard somebody discussing when the woke culture started taking over, and it was just an interesting perspective that I think holds true just using common sense, is as much as we try to weed out like racist jokes or anything, even when you're just joking and you're just, there's like black jokes and Mexican jokes and gay jokes and all kinds of things. And there's normal jokes and there's white people jokes and there's every joke. Let's say you're at a workplace where everybody's in like the break room and everybody's cutting up and it's a bunch of white people and they're all telling jokes and you're telling jokes with your friends and you're all laughing and people say racist jokes. That was normal in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. And now a black woman walks in and everybody goes, "Oh, okay, never mind. Let's be quiet." And they don't tell the jokes anymore and everybody stops laughing. What do you think she thinks and feels walking into that? Like it just highlights like, you're different than us. You can't take the joke. You can't handle the joke. You're not a part of this group where we can all have fun together. Do you think that's really better? Do you think they enjoy that? Or would they feel more comfortable just coming in and being like, dude, you can make jokes around me and I'll make jokes around you and it's fine. I'm not like super sensitive. And I'm sure everybody has different perspectives on that, but I can recognize that must be such an awkward overreaction to let's not be offensive to people, to where you're so over exaggerating not being offensive that becomes offensive. It makes them feel ostracized.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I feel like if you don't really have the balls to say a joke in front of somebody, you only can say it with your friends. You shouldn't even be saying it at all.
Yeah, that's true.
You should be able to say a joke in front of somebody, even if it's offensive.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it kind of makes you look like a puss.
That's my whole page. That's why people are like, you probably do all these horrible things in public. It's like, no, I just have the balls to say it in public. I'll post it and you're not going to hear me say anything different in private. I just talk like this. I'm just not afraid to say the thing that most people are like, am I allowed to say this? If I think it and I feel it and I think it's okay, I'll put it out there to the world and it's fine. Yeah. People will get offended, of course, but it's at least authentic and I'm not hiding myself. I'm not pretending to be something I'm not.
Right. And most of us are probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah. That's
so
why there's a huge reaction. That's why we're gaining followers. That's why people are reacting. That's why Curtis Connor's making videos about us and all that. It has an effect and people are resonating with it. And it's not for nothing. It's because people are like, yeah, I agree with that. I just can't say it, but I'm going to like it and I'm going to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are afraid of the backlash, but honestly, if I have to be somebody that goes in there and does all the dirty work, so we can actually have like more content creators that are not afraid to say how they feel, I'll do it, dude. I don't care if this is, if I die doing this and I get doxxed and somebody comes to my address and kills me over this. It was worth it. I'm never taking it back because we need to be able to. We're pushing back against this.
Yeah, And we
I
want more people to. So guys, if you're watching and listening and you want to get involved, follow Spooner, follow me, follow other people like us, start posting your own content. Don't be afraid to say your opinions. Don't, you got to find your line and your principles. We're not saying anything you say to be offensive is great and a good thing to do, but there is a big difference between voicing your own opinions and not being afraid to be offensive or be provocative. But more and more people need to wake up and do this.
Yeah. I think so too. Just state however you feel and just be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with everybody else, honestly.
And if people get mad, they're going to get mad anyways. And if you get death threats, guess what? We all do. And has anybody come and killed you yet, Spooner?
No.
Okay. Me neither.
Nobody's even walked to my house yet.
Yeah.
Like my address has been posted so many times now. I had my address popped up on Instagram. People were just sharing my address around, even DMing me saying like, hey, I have your address. I'm like, okay, come on over.
There is one thing before we wrap up, because we are running over time, but that does bring up a point. We met at a brewery in Tampa, because you live in Orlando, and we actually met or ran into some haters there.
We did.
They found, well, we didn't run into them, but the bar was filling up as we were making a collab TikTok, and they were looking at us all fucking weird and side-eyed, and turns out your girlfriend overheard them say, I know who that is. That's Nick Foster from TikTok. And they were not friendly, and they were not having it at all.
Yeah,
and I tried to make friends.
They both looked like they get like pegged by their girlfriends anyway, so it didn't even matter.
But it wasn't just them, because that was the older couple that was on the site. It was like a double date or something, but it was also
they knew you too.
Yeah, and then the girl with her mom on the other side also knew me, because she was giving me this whole situation, and she was pulling it up and showing her mom, but that wasn't the one, I guess, that your girlfriend overheard. But it was a strange energy, and I was like trying to be friends, like, hey guys, I'm a friendly person, and they were just like, no, I know you. I do not like it. And we had just been talking about how, like, have we, because I started being recognized more and more in public, and you hadn't been recognized yet. And then you witnessed it right there as like, they knew me. And that was the first time it was like clear haters who weren't happy with me.
Yeah, they looked like cucks though. I mean, honestly, dude, like most people that are gonna hate you are social rejects. They don't have the balls to come up to you and like want to fight you.
They didn't say anything like that. I tried to be like, hey, what's up? Are you guys friendly? And they were just like, no. And they just like turned.
Right.
It was a weird energy.
I would say the only person that would actually get punched in the face is probably you, dude, because you stepped on the flag. Yeah. So conservatives are the ones that you got to be afraid of.
That's true. That's true. But hey, this is the life I lead. I wouldn't doubt that I'm going to have to deal with some shit, but I've always kind of dealt with this, and I'm, it's on a bigger platform now and I have more followers, but I do things. But the truth is, in real life, I'm a friendly, open person. I'm not out there trying to make people hate me. I'm not out there trying to hurt their feelings. I'm a friendly, social dude. You can come up to me. We could talk. You'd probably like me afterwards. But if you come up and you just want to punch me because of something I did on TikTok to prove a point, you're the asshole, not me.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, Spooner. Is there anything you want to shout out? Like have people follow you on TikTok, Instagram, any of that?
You find me, you find me.
All right, honestly, guys. I think that means follow him on TikTok. I'll put the links that I can find of yours on this on the description. All right, dude. Good talk. Anything else you want to throw down before we jump off?
No, I think we're good, man. But it was good talking to you. I appreciate you having me on. That was awesome, dude. So we'll have to get together soon and make some videos together, trigger some more snowflakes.
Hell yeah.
We'll get some more YouTube videos made about us.
And this time we'll pick a time when I'm not shadow banned, so I can actually drive some traffic to your page, because it was terrible timing on the last one.
No, I understand, man. It's totally okay. So, but anyway, bro.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Spooner.
You have a good one.
All right, man. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.
Later.